What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? I'm the Godless engineer, and I critically analyze apologist claims to give you the best arguments and information so that you can stand up and use your voice.
Are you aware that women out-earn men until their mid-30s?
Until their mid-30s?
Yeah, it's only past the mid-30s where men tend to earn more on average.
Wow. That is Gilberto, and he is a MAGA supporter from Canada. I know, a little bit crazy. He has some complaints about women because, of course, MAGA has complaints about women and how persecuted men are because, oh, the poor persecuted cishet white man. And if you couldn't guess, today's clip is from The Line. If you would like more conversations like the one that you're going to see today, then go over to The Line and subscribe there. So if you want to fuck around and find out how persecuted Gilberto is, then please stay tuned.
In the meantime, let's talk to Gilberto, who is a Canadian theist, allegedly. Gilberto, you are on the line with Jimmy and John. How are you?
Good. How's it going, Jimmy?
Just peachy. You're not actually Bill, right?
No, I'm Gilberto. I don't know who Bill is.
All right. Well, I don't think that was the real name.
Have you ever talked to Bill before? Okay,
No. Bill was calling in, trying to use the IP address from the United States, trying to use a VPN to call in and troll, essentially. But you're apparently calling in because you're from Canada. Hopefully you're telling the truth here. And that's why you called in on an IP address. But Gilberto, what point is it you want to make? Can't hear you, Gilberto. You might need to touch your phone to wake it up.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Sure do.
Okay, sorry about that. I know previously you said you wanted MAGA people to call in. I didn't call in to debate theism or atheism in particular. However, I do lean theistic. But when it comes to
what kind of theist?
Political points, a Christian.
Okay, cool.
But when it comes to the political perspective with MAGA, I used to be more left-leaning. I don't vote in the United States, but I do have family that live there as well. And I see a trend where basically men in particular on the left, men of color like myself on the left, are starting to move away from the left. And I believe a big part of it has to do with equality and the whole idea of patriarchy. Would you espouse or do you ascribe to the belief of a patriarchy?
Do I espouse to the belief of the patriarchy? I think I'm going to need a better definition than that because it's so vaguely put. If you are asking whether or not I believe that there is an inequitable patriarchal system in place that seeks to prioritize the well-being of men over the well-being of anybody else, and especially the well-being of cisgender white men, cisgender heterosexual white men, yes, I absolutely, not only do I believe that, I actually think most Christians believe it too, because most Christians celebrate that the patriarchy would be the superior system. So yes, of course, I believe that there is that the United States runs on a mainly patriarchal system.
Also, I'm not. Is it true that more?
Again.
Yeah, I'm looking this up, on Perplexity right now. But are more people of color becoming conservative?
More men of color voted for Trump than in times prior. They did gain those things. I don't think it actually has anything to do with the patriarchy thing per se. I think it has to do with them being a part of the patriarchy and Donald Trump appealing to that. But I think a big part of it is the caricaturization, essentially, of masculinity and an absolute grift from the right.
Yeah, so I can explain the reason why people like myself are leaving the left position.
Well, you can explain why and you're a Canadian. So I will tell you, I will take that with an entire grain of salt, but I would say you probably want to limit mostly to why you did. I won't consider whatever your position as a Canadian will be necessarily why Americans.
Well, so I have friends in the United States who also work in similar lines of field.
Great, I can't investigate that.
So they would. Yeah, okay, so I'll explain it to you, and then your listeners can ultimately decide if what I'm saying makes sense with their lived experience if they're a man. So when it comes to the patriarchy, the issue is that when you're looking at some of those gaps, it doesn't take the pay gap in particular, doesn't take into account that men take more dangerous jobs. And there's also, do you believe in pay equity?
Wait. We can get to there soon, but you made a claim. Are you sure that pay gaps that are expressed, unless you're trying to go with some old number or literally do like the right likes to do, pick the worst version of the argument ever, are you sure that the pay gap numbers are based on that they do not account for the differences in the jobs that men tend to take that women don't? And are you sure that the pay gap numbers don't actually show things like a pay gap between, on average, men and women doing the same jobs, or white people and black people doing the same jobs?
Yeah, so it's very mixed when it comes to those studies. I know the pay gap.
That's not how you presented it at first. Go on.
Well, it's mixed and here's the reason it's mixed in particular. So women out earn men in their earlier years. It's only at 36 where you start to see that pay differential. Did you know that?
Sorry, give it again. I was reading something. What'd you say?
Are you aware that women out earn men until their mid 30s?
Until their mid 30s?
Yeah, it's only past the mid 30s where men tend to earn more on average.
I will take a look at that.
Okay. And the reason for that, do you also believe in pay inequality, that the CEO gets paid more than they did previously?
Oh, if you want to talk about inequity and CEOs, we can definitely talk about inequities and CEOs. If you're wanting to describe that the average CEO adjusted for inflation is still getting paid, it wouldn't really matter because the extremes are still getting so much larger and so outpaced, and CEO pay hasn't ever really been equitable in this country. And by the way, I'm currently finding that the stat you just gave already, and this is why I like to fact check. I actually use a specific system that can do a lot of it quickly and pull up sources. There is definitely no consensus. While it is closer, women ages 25 to 34 earn about 95 cents for every dollar men earn in that cohort. So far, just doing quick fact checking, it's going to be some very specific thing. Accounting for the same job. How do you know that's not accounting for the same job? Because this looks like it's a Pew Research that says it is accounting for the same job.
Okay, so yeah, I was about to say, if you're using the Pew Research, the census data also shows that of around 93 to 100% of women earn a percentage of what men do. In some metropolitan cities like New York, Washington, Los Angeles, women actually out-earn men by a few percentage points.
I'm literally I'm typing this in, looking for things to support. I'm not trying to bias it against it. And literally it's like, sorry, can't find it, because even from not just Pew, but Bureau of Labor Statistics show that among young workers performing the same job, earnings are nearly equal, with women earning about 8% on average less, 92 to 95 cents for every dollar earned by men in the same age group and occupation. So far, still not finding that. And I'm guessing what you have is a very specific thing that was done by a group that we're not going to examine. We won't be able to examine what their actual research methods was, but it's something that's a group like Turning Point USA repeats with, because right now I can't find anything that is making the claim, even when I am trying to lean the system in your favor. But also when it comes to pay gap, and not pay gap isn't the only thing. In fact, this is why I saw you had seen that you told the screener that Trump is better for equality in the workplace. Do you know what disparate impact liability is?
I don't.
Great. So this is a thing that Donald Trump has used an executive order to try and repeal. And I went ahead and pulled up the kind of like a summary definition so that my own legal explanation to you won't get all fucked up. Disparate impact is a well-established civil rights doctrine embedded in federal law, notably Title VII and the Civil Rights Act, and upheld in major Supreme Court decision. It allows courts to examine policies that are facially neutral, appear neutral, but have statistically significant harmful effects on certain groups. If a policy is unnecessary for business needs, remedies can be sought. Examples include hiring tests, promotion requirements, or workplace rules that unfairly exclude women, minorities, or other protected groups. So basically, it is these things where it's like, we put this policy into place, and on the face, it looks neutral. But in the way it will operate, it is going to exclude people. There are very obvious examples of this that, by the way, have happened also on the left. Jon Stewart famously is told when he realized they were doing it, that their hiring process looked like it was color blind and gender blind. And yet they were mostly getting one very narrow group of people, quote unquote, applying for the jobs. By the time that they were getting to them, it was basically getting narrowed down to almost entirely white dudes. And so they made those changes, and people can have legal changes. Now, Donald Trump has signed an executive order essentially saying, don't investigate these anymore. Make it harder for claims on the basis of this, because as long as it's facially neutral, as long as it appears colorblind, whether or not it is built in a way to actually still be a force of segregation, doesn't matter. So we are on we have obviously gone to very much the political end. But when we're describing disparities in access in work, it's not even just about if a woman finally gets to a supervisory position, does she make as much as her male cohort? Which again, everything appears to point to no, but it's not as bad as it used to. She makes at least slightly less, however, on average. It's also a matter of how much do women have access and are actually able to get to those places. And it's kind of like a lot of things with the right, where I've worked in corporate America, I've worked in retail America, and 100% I've worked at multiple jobs, especially, I feel like anyone who's worked at a Verizon has seen this. If you are a woman there and you're okay at sales or good at sales, you're probably going to stay a salesperson. If you're a guy and you're good at sales and you have that like salesmanship thing, the man who is your supervisor is going to lift you up. And there's going to be a thing of like, no, they're just going with who they liked the most in the interview, but it's time after time after time, it's a man because they're looking for leadership qualities, and other men hire men because they think leadership and masculinity go hand in hand. So now I'll give you back the mic, Gilberto, to be much more clear about what the gaps are that are important, where you want to go to a very myopic thing about how much of a pay gap there is, and make points that so far I have not been able to find the corroborating evidence for.
Well, here's the thing. So you said that women are getting paid less. The fact that I bring up that it's only after their 30s do we start to see that gap.
Again, already fact check it and have not been able to find your corroborating evidence. Where should I go to find your corroborating evidence? 93 to
100%. You even said that you agree that Pew Research says that they
hold on, Gilberto.
I did not say 93 to 100. I said 92 to 95. So if your point is so strong, why do you have to change my words to make it?
So hold on. So we agree that the gap is smaller during the younger years. Do you
than
agree with
it
that?
Used to be. No. The gap is smaller than it used to be. I haven't yet investigated whether or not the gap then increases more. But yes, it looks like it does. I'm finding that information now. As women reach their early to mid 30s, pay gap reappears and grows, so that by ages 35 to 44, women earn just 83% of what men do.
Exactly.
So you're saying exactly. There is a pay gap. If you were agreeing with me, you'd be on my side. There is a pay gap still.
You're not letting me talk, so I can't
up to 34. I'm going to in a moment, but you're being weird about it all and acting like this information is supporting you. You still, despite being asked twice, haven't given your corroborating evidence of your claim before, but you seem to be conceding now that you were wrong. It isn't more, and that it is 92 to 95%, which is still a measurable gap. Maybe you were doing specifically white women. I would love to see what your corroborating evidence is, because it's either going to be that or it's going to just be something with a nonsense measuring method. But then you went exactly, because when they get older, the gap does reappear. So please do explain to me how there is a gap at all the age groups, and this makes your point for you. And continue, I think, to ignore the other points I made. You got to touch your phone. I don't know. Boy, keep your phone awake.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you say the gap reappears. Did you establish that it is initially present at younger ages, earlier than 30? Because that hasn't been proven.
Except I just cited to you the information that it was both from the not only Pew, but also, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and that I was doing that searching with a bias towards your end, going, show me the information, show me the studies. You could solve this very quickly, Gilberto. Instead of trying to go like, okay, let me now ask these like pedantic, myopic questions to see if I can try and discredit. Where is the better evidence, the better stats that you have, Gilberto? Just tell me where to find it. I'll go look.
But I'm trying to clarify, just like you clarified something I said.
Great. Before you clarify, Gilberto, where is the evidence that you have that it is? Gilberto, yes, because you're not answering my question. So the next thing you're going to answer. Otherwise, we need to switch to God shit, because you're really failing on this. Gilberto, you will talk when I tell you. This is how it works. Gilberto, you are going to now tell me where to find the stats that you cited that say they make more, or you are going to concede you made it up or were mistaken.
I already conceded the fact that the gap is smaller, and even if they don't necessarily make more, that doesn't defeat my position. However, you're not letting me
to be
state my
clear,
position,
Gilberto,
so it doesn't matter.
you'll
Like,
get
I
to in
can't
a
state my
moment.
position,
To be
and it
clear,
doesn't matter.
Gilberto, you'll get to in a moment. To be clear, your
Yeah, you
initial claim that up until 35, women make more than men was untrue. You are admitting
Well,
that and conceding that.
That's not totally untrue, because in cities like New York, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles, women under 30 actually out-earn men by a few percentage
So
points.
it's not a broad category of women. It is specifically in places that have that are bluer cities with larger amounts of worker protection. Those are the places where it's happening.
Yes, the
Also,
most densely
I wanna-
populated
Gilberto.
cities where most people live
Yeah.
tend to have women out-earn men. So as a percentage of people,
So now,
women who are living in these
Gilberto,
metropolises
you've just
out-earn
stated
men.
another fact. Where can I find those facts backed up? Give me those stats.
Yeah, so I just cited New York, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles. Are
Right.
those
Where do
not
I look up
densely
New York,
populated
Washington,
cities?
D.C., and Los Angeles? Do I need to go there and start asking people, or could you point me to the data that you are using? Since the first claim, you're now trying to cherry pick. You used it as a broad claim, and now you're saying, no. Here's my cherry pick claim. You're giving me data. Where can I verify the data?
Okay, so here's the thing. It's going to be kind of boring for your listeners, though. I can type it in right now and then.
Oh, got it. So you don't actually know where the data is, but you're thinking that if you were to start Googling now, you'll be able to find it. No, I can go ahead and do it too, since I was already doing your homework for you. You should have had this information ready if you were going to stake your claim on it. What was it besides New York City, Washington, and where? Los Angeles?
Los Angeles, yep.
Okay, great. We'll see if we can do your work for you now that we've gone from women and broadly in America down to these specific 3 cities that are blue that have more worker protections because they have unions and are bluer places. But that makes my point that equity has improved already because in the blue cities, there might be closer to equity. Do go on.
I do want to
for you.
I do want to point out.
ChatGPT,
Hold on.
like, can I just ask a question to verify sources? If I type into ChatGPT, do women out-earn men in younger years? And it says younger workers under 30 in the U.S. and several developed countries, women often earn about the same or slightly more than men in their early 20s. Are you saying ChatGPT, which aggregates a bunch of studies,
what is the source of that information?
I love that you want to go with, I'm going to type it into ChatGPT and just cite that and tell you it cites a lot of things, while somewhat tacitly admitting you've never gone and checked those sources.
So here's the thing.
Also, I was going to point out somebody.
I did not see.
Or are you lying?
Gilberto, that is not, excuse me, Gilberto, that is not what I just said. Gilberto, if your points are so strong, why do you need to keep lying about what I said?
But if my points were inaccurate, why would ChatGPT say that?
What did I actually say? What did I actually say to you, Gilberto?
You said if I'm lying, why would I have to?
What did I say to you before that? What was the point that you then said? So are you lying or is it lying? Because you accused me of saying that ChatGPT is lying.
Yeah, you said that I actually researched and pulled the actual studies, but you didn't either. You decided.
Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. First of all, yes, I have deeply gone into, because this point has come up many, many times. When it comes to right now, did I read it in preparation for this show? No, because I didn't know what claim you were going to make. Have I gone over way more data on this than you've even begun to consider? Absolutely, positively. And once again, you are sitting here and going, there are averages in specifically blue states, in specifically blue cities. You've tried to cherry pick. And by the way, why would if is the only option that I'm accusing ChatGPT of lying? Because the fact check system that I'm using is also built on AI. It actually can utilize ChatGPT as well as others. So are you saying that it must be lying? It may have been using ChatGPT.
Can I interject here real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. ChatGPT's red pill. ChatGPT's red pill.
Gilberto. So I just I feel like this is going to be a demonstration of how inept you're being at this particular situation. Somebody in our chat right now actually quoted from Pew Research the exact stat that you're doing. I just simply went to Google to put in exactly what's quoted from the Pew Research about this, and it does say the thing that you're talking about. But you know what is also contained in that same Pew Research data is the key contributing factors like education. Young women are now more likely to be college graduates than young men. And this is especially true in large, highly educated cities like New York and Washington, D.C. have women in those fields. So I feel like what you're doing is you're complaining that women are more educated than men and are therefore somehow you think that is driving men to the more conservative side because they're dumber? Is that? I feel because career choices, young women in these areas are going to be more interested in getting into higher paying fields such as professional and technical services. Also, they have different marriage and family decisions with them tending to marry later so that they can achieve more professional success prior to getting married. So like there are contributing factors here in those particular instances, and it kind of makes it seem like a bullseye fallacy.
So here's the thing. Am I going to be allowed to talk uninterrupted?
No, definitely not. If we feel the need to interrupt you, we're definitely going to interrupt you again. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for taking the time then, because I don't interrupt when you guys are talking.
Oh, Gilberto, Gilberto, that's because you don't do this professionally for a living. You aren't equipped to interrupt us and know when a person needs to be put back on track because you keep committing fallacies and going off. Would you like me to read what I just put into ChatGPT? Since we said ChatGPT, I decided to go with your thing.
Just agreed with me, and then he justified the reason as to why women are making more in their
Wait. So you do want to respond, or you want to whine? So you do want to?
Before you said it wasn't true.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
True or is it not true?
Excuse me.
Is it true or is it not true?
Hey, wait, Gilberto, I'm going to do what you did. This is what I just put into ChatGPT 5. In America, up to age 35 years, do women out-earn men? ChatGPT 5 says, no, the data do not generally support the claim that women under 35 out-earn men in the U.S., at least in aggregate. Here's what the evidence shows. So when you're saying, is it true or is it not true? It is true that the Pew Research that he specifically just referred to does make a case that in some places, 35 up to 35 years old, women out-earn men because they are more educated than men. It is funny that we're being so myopic about 35 because once again, even if the gap is getting better or they have even bypassed it, you're once and now again now describing a group of people. On top of the cities you tried to cherry pick, a group of people that generally lean bluer. But ChatGPT 5, which you just told me, either I'm lying or it's lying. Well, ChatGPT 5 right now says, no, the data do not generally support the claim that women under 35 out-earn men in the US, at least in aggregate. Here's what the evidence actually shows. And then it puts a bunch of things for the Bureau of Labor Statistics and others. So, Gilberto, are you lying or is ChatGPT lying? This is what you did to me a minute ago.
Okay, yeah. So let me. What was it?
No. Wait. You interrupted and went, no. Are you lying? Or when I tried to explain and present nuance, you went, no. Are you lying or ChatGPT lying? Gilberto, are you lying or is ChatGPT lying?
So if you can give me the prompt that you typed in, because
I wrote it. I already said it to you. In America, I will put it.
Just acknowledge the fact that I was correct.
Excuse me. My co-host just acknowledged the fact that there is Pew Research that indicates some version of what you said and with nuance, not what you actually present. Excuse me, Gilberto. You're going to keep complaining about interrupting and keep trying to interrupt. Clearly not interrupting is not a value of yours.
But you're not letting me talk. I would love to not interrupt you, but you're not letting me talk.
Absolutely. You will get to talk if you actually do so honestly and stop trying to be such... Okay, again, I was going to be mean.
How am I being bad faith? I'm honestly...
Are you lying or is ChatGPT lying?
But you see, this is the thing.
Are you lying or is ChatGPT lying?
This is why people have left the left. I appreciate your co-host
because they argue back to the left, the right, the way they were arguing back.
There was no sources.
Gilberto,
I'm just trying to have an honest conversation.
No, you aren't. All right, I'm going to mute you because you're incapable. Gilberto, you're not trying to have an honest conversation. You go, this is why people left the left. Because when we started arguing in bad faith, they started arguing back at us with the exact same bad faith we were just using. You literally did it as I was doing your is ChatGPT or you lying thing back to you. The way you did it to me and went, this is why people left the left. And by the way, if you leave an ideology over how you didn't like the way you talked with a person who shared that ideology, which I bet you couldn't summarize my ideology anyway, then you were a weak fucking believer in the first place, and your beliefs are based on fifis, and that's not something to brag about either. Every angle of this, what you are like, the point you are trying to make, you are sucking at. But do go on. John, did you say you have something you want to say before I unmute him?
Yeah, I just want to, because I've been brought up a couple of times here in the light of like affirming what Gilberto is saying here, and obviously Jimmy was correct in that I wasn't affirming what he was saying. I was just saying that all you had to do was say that I got this from Pew Research or something like that. Then we could have investigated it. You decided to play coy with us and not cite your sources, and to where we could actually go and look it up. And it seems like the reason why you didn't do that, just simply tell us where you're getting this information, because you were obviously reading off of a prompt or something like that, and instead of telling us where you were getting it, because I could just easily go to the Pew Research and see the contributing factors, which makes it seem like you called in order to complain about women being more educated and being deserving of better pay because of their education and the career choices that they make and all this, which makes the right-wing men look like really big fucking snowflakes, that they're getting so angry that they leave the left because they're too stupid to stay in the left.
So as I unmute you, Gilberto, I hope you will start by thanking John, because he believes you are acting in more good faith than I do. I think the reason why you brought it up is because you heard it on a podcast and you just repeated it, that you didn't actually know where it came from. And that's why it took so long to find out where the information even came from in the first place. And now, again, still unaware of what it actually says, you are trying to say, therefore, in total summary, my title level of understanding of this article from Pew, of this study from Pew, please admit that I was right and you were wrong. So I hope you will thank John for believing you were engaging in better faith than I do, because I don't believe you actually were engaging at that level of good faith. Not good. I don't think John was saying you were engaging in good faith, just better than I was. So now I will unmute you. You're unmuted, Gilberto. This is your time. You wanted your time to talk.
Thank you. Am I going to, well, the thing is, you're just going to interrupt me. So my
when
point
necessary.
Is I did put into ChatGPT and I said, do women out-earn men in their younger years? That was the prompt I used. If ChatGPT is presenting me false information, you're basically making the claim that ChatGPT has a right-wing bias. Is that
Excuse
accurate?
me, I won't be making any claim, and you are once again trying to not address the actual points made and go off on these pedantic tangents that do not matter. By the way, I am going to interrupt you again. Hang on, I'm going to interrupt you again and pause.
Yes,
people, this is the Sunday show. The phone number is 720-619-2288. If somebody would like to defend their belief in God, because right now we are sitting here, we've got Gilberto. The next guy wants to make a point about trans people. Oh, it looks like they're pretending to be Bill, or they are Bill. I doubt their name is actually Bill. Might have to check whether that phone number is something they just spoofed. But Bill, after the VPN failed, may actually be on the line. We're going to find out. If somebody would actually like to call in who can engage in good faith, understands that debate isn't trying to get your opponent to do your work for you, and understands like being this level of pedantic of going, okay, well, I used a slightly different prompt. By the way, the prompt you used, Jimmy, was actually closer to my actual claim, but my slightly different prompt gave something. And so now I'm going to make you argue with whether or not I am saying ChatGPT has a certain lean, which is not a position I've ever taken or pointed out. Can you actually stick to the actual matters at hand? Either let's go to talking about theism and why you believe in God, because that would be far more interesting, or stick to your original point that Trump is better for equality in the workplace and start responding to those issues, since Donald Trump hasn't improved any of these stats and has removed protections for workers and has been an anti-union president and has removed all kinds of things that actually have, as you've somewhat admitted, in blue cities been more successful at bringing people closer to equity. But go on. Here it's back to you, and you're going to make some dumb point about ChatGPT. Touch your phone. Can't hear you. How are you? It is funny that they can never figure out how to keep their phone awake.
Well, so the thing is, I'm polite and I listen to what you have to say, and my phone goes to sleep. I'm not talking, so I wouldn't know if I'm actually.
Maybe turn off the sleep function.
Well, I appreciate that. You brought that up. My apologies. I'm listening to you the whole time, which is why my phone goes.
Thank you for apologizing. I forgive you.
So when it comes to what previously, before I called in, you said you were willing to have discussions with people who lean MAGA, which is why I called in. you want to talk about theistic stuff, I would not have called in. However, I do want to say that if people are going to just go on to ChatGPT, do research, do women out earn men in their younger years was the prompt I used. People can look it up.
Do you
And if
believe
you're
that
gonna say, well,
ChatGPT is a research entity? I knew you were going to make a
So
bullshit point about
ChatGPT
ChatGPT.
Yeah, so ChatGPT is great in that it is able to aggregate all these sources together,
Mhm.
and it makes a generalization.
And
So
you
if you're
trust the
saying this information
generalization
is
as a
wrong,
conclusion, despite the fact we have shown on this program that if you just change the wording of the prompt, for example, mine accurate to what you actually said, and then yours to being more broad, that if you just change the prompt, you can get it to make both points. So I don't know why you're still sticking on now the defending ChatGPT when I'm saying you need to do more than ChatGPT, because what happened where I turned in America up to age 35, do women out earn men, which you said that was much closer to what your actual claim was. And then you switched it to, I'm sorry, what did you do? I'll do a new chat. I'll type it in word for word. What was your prompt?
yeah, so if you do women out earn men in younger years, and you'll see the
Out-earn
stats about the
men in younger years. And you didn't even add in America?
it talks about, they're all referencing America. So
Weird. So you're in Canada and it location grabbed you and knew you meant the United States? Here's how I know you're not Canadian, because you just gave away that your algorithm knew you were in the United States. Well done.
it says, I'm sorry, it doesn't say United States. It says in several developed countries and the United States.
Oh, interesting. So we've gotten even broader than your original claim, or you're lying about where you're calling from. Which one is it, Gilberto?
No, it says it right here. It says in the U.S. and several other developed countries. But that's the thing is, why assume I'm lying? Like, why can't it just be that I'm expressing an opinion and belief genuinely?
Yeah, the word lie, it's doing a lot of lifting. I just think you're dishonest.
For what reason?
Technically, it's different because of the way, because you're absolutely a bad faith interlocutor.
For what reason? I'm genuinely.
I've already laid it out. I've already laid it out. The tangents that you are trying to go on to avoid accountability for your poorly researched position. That you think that all of what you have done, and in fact, you even again, you keep making tacit admissions. When I said, and you've never actually read any of these studies, you basically tacitly admitted all you've done is read headlines and ChatGPT when you said neither have you. So that's you admitting that you haven't and then accusing me of also not having, except for that you're wrong. I have. So this would be a summary.
Never read studies. I don't think I've ever said that you've never read studies. I would imagine you've read some studies.
I said you haven't actually read the studies about the information we're discussing. You said neither have you. And we were talking about, bro, and Gilberto, we are so still far from the point that you're calling in. Trump is better for equality in the workplace, and also far from the point of what the show is, which is that there is not a good reason to believe in God. So which one are we going to stay farther from?
Okay, but did you not invite MAGA people to call in? So you're being
Gilberto. Once again, you are distracted. Gilberto, you're once again. This is why you're a dishonest interlocutor. Excuse me. Jesus Christ, I have to mute you every time. Gilberto, this is why you're a dishonest interlocutor, because I just said, here is the point you called in on that we were engaging on, that we're already far from the original point. We've already given you a permission slip and an exception to that this would usually be a God show. But you can't even stay on that point. Now we're arguing over whether or not, and by the way, this explains a lot of conservative mind thinking, whether or not the summary, the aggregate summary from ChatGPT 5 should be trusted as what you called it, research. Okay? So that's where we are now. The topic you supposedly called in on was Trump is better for equality in the workplace. It's supposed to be on God, which, by the way, you started the call saying you could do that, but you called in for something else, and you're still not going to it. So I'm saying we made an exception, said you can call in on the Trump stuff. That's where we should be, and we're not even fucking there. So we're gone from the original, we're gone from the exception, and now we're off in La La Land, masturbating to the sounds of our own voice, and I keep interrupting you so you don't come so fast. Go on, Gilberto. That was gross, but I'm annoyed.
Yeah, so your claim's not even accurate. In my prompt to talk to you guys, I never put that I was going to discuss atheism or theism.
That's not what I just said. You can't listen. You literally said, I said at the beginning of the call, you said you'd be able to discuss it, but you called in for something else. Take notes, dude. No, I'm literally taking notes while you're talking.
I never said that.
Yes, you did.
That, though.
Yes, you did. You said you could, but you called in about something else. I'll go back and look, and if I'm wrong, bummer, but I'm John, do you remember him saying something to that end?
No, I said what I said initially is that I know this show's typically about atheists, but you guys invited people to talk about MAGA, and I'd rather talk about that.
Somebody go back to the beginning and just put it in the chat. If I'm wrong, I'll admit I was wrong, but I'm fairly certain he acknowledged that he would be able to talk about that. Again, he very pedantically wants to focus on this now, instead of mentioning how far he is from the actual topic he did call in on, and that he has been invited to stay on that topic, but can't even stay there.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you.
Sorry, did you ask me a question?
I don't appreciate you, but we can lie.
Exactly.
Now we're here to lying again.
No, I genuinely do appreciate you taking the time
No, you
to talk
don't.
to
Shut
me.
the fuck up. No, you don't. Get out of here.
How would you know that?
Yeah, so,
I just do magic.
yeah, okay, Gilberto.
And I'm Gilberto. One. I called in to have a conversation with people.
I understand. I get it. You called in for something. But I kind of summarized your point in that apparently men are moving away from the left side of the spectrum to the right side of the spectrum because they're angry about educated women. Is that what I'm supposed to take away from like your point?
Well,
Trying to get back to the original point here.
I appreciate that. And, I'm not sure who the person is who keeps gish galloping over me. But it's one of those things.
Oh my God.
People,
fuck.
Well, if we're not.
Could we stop?
Hey, Gilberto. All right, I've muted you again, Gilberto. So even given the opportunity to get back on track, you are instead complaining about the call and using words you don't actually understand what they mean. Because it doesn't just simply mean to say a lot. It is to overwhelm you with points that you are unable to refute, and then basically being like, you only hit 2 or 3 of mine, and I made 30 points, so since you didn't refute the other 27, I've won. That's how Gish Gallop actually works. I am long-winded. Long-windedness is not the same thing. Please learn your fallacies and your debate tactics before you start citing them, lest you accidentally look like a dum-dum. And Gilberto, you wouldn't want to look like that, would you? So Gilberto, if you would now like to engage, by the way, people have gone back and looked, and they said that you said that you could talk on theism, but that is not what, hang on, the person had put it, that if you could talk about theism, but that's not what you called in to talk about. And I don't find that my interpretation of that, you said you didn't, I find my interpretation of that just fine. So you could have called in and talked on the topic, but you want to talk about something else. We said that's fine. And now we are once again so far away. So Gilberto, are you going to come back to a topic, or are you going to keep whining about the quality of the call? Oh, I have to unmute you. My bad. Go ahead.
You don't have to mute me. I actually listened to what you said.
No, I literally was muting you because you wouldn't shut up when people were talking to you. I don't mute you when you are quiet. I mute you when you're talking and someone is trying to say something to you.
But that's absolutely not. You just mute me so you can make a point. Like, I'm not even talking over you when you mute.
This time I did that. See, that's what that actually looks like. Since you can't tell the difference. And once again, not returning to a point, complaining about the call. Jesus fucking Christ. How would you know what the call is like if we're actually staying on point when you have yet to stay on point? I just lost a tip to my pencil. I keep pulling it out of like boredom or fidgeting, and it just fell into my crotch and now it's gone. All right, so, Gilberto, unmuted. Are you going to stay on topic? I doubt it.
Yeah, so you're muting me again. I'm not even talking. I don't even know.
Oh my God! Quit with the Jesus fucking Christ. We don't care about how whiny you are. Yeah, I don't care how whiny you are. I'm just wanting an answer to my question. I tried to get to the actual conclusion that you want to meander your way to, and that's that apparently men are so snowflakey and whiny about educated women that they're leaving the left for the right because the right is going to pander to their false sense of superiority to women and everything. So essentially, are you calling in to complain about educated women and how they get paid more than maybe you're dumbass or something? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck you called in for.
Go ahead. I'm unmuting you now. You can respond to John.
Well, I mean, if I can't talk, then
how am I? Bye, John. Bye, Gilberto. Gilberto, I'm gonna let John ask you one more time, and if you do anything but address the question, you're gone. Go ahead, ask one more time, John.
So are you calling in to complain about women being educated and educated people being paid more than people who are less educated? And that is the reason why men are leaving the left side of the spectrum for the right side of the spectrum, because the right side is going to pander to their false sense of superiority.
And now you may respond. You're unmuted.
No, that's not my point.
Then what is?
Are you gonna let me say it though, or are you
Nope,
just gonna...
I'm not, because I just asked you what it fucking is, Gilberto. I just asked, what is your fucking point? And for the next person who goes, Jimmy just talks and never lets the callers actually make their points, I'm going to point them to this fucking episode where I just spent 400 years begging the person to actually make the point. And this is that proof, because people, oh, well, if Jimmy actually listened to the point, time after time after time, please make your point. Please get back on topic. Please, please, please. I can't, because I'm a fucking garbage interlocutor. I don't know how to debate. I don't know how to make points. I don't even know what my values are, because I already bragged that somebody broke my fee-fees and that changed my opinion. Gilberto, here's the next question you have to answer. I'm unmuting you now. Are you sure you can have this topic? Maybe you're too hormonal.
No, I'm more than willing to have the conversation.
Are you?
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, let's try to not get our emotions in the way this time, Gilberto. Try to not get your fee-fees out. What point do you actually want to make? Or someone's asking what the price is to move on. I will $100 of super chats, and I'll just crash this call. Go ahead, Gilberto.
Right. The irony though is that you're the one yelling and I'm the one being.
Shut the fuck up, Gilberto, and just make your point.
Yep. Well, have a good one. Thank you.
Eat my ass. It's ass flavored. I can do it too. All right. He's trying to. I think he actually was kind of, at the very end, smarter than other people, because I did just offer, if people paid, I would crash his call. And he's like, well, I'm not going to let them make money off of that. And so now I'm going to need y'all to donate up to $100 of super chats just to prove that he didn't succeed. We're still going to get the money for getting rid of him.
Wow, that was a crazy ass misogynistic call, wasn't it? How do you feel about the meta game that he started to play with being all persecuted and shit by, the call itself? Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. And while you're down there, why don't you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of content. And if you have time, why don't you check out this other video up here? It would really help us out a lot. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.